Hello everyone, Brad Logan here along with Jared Redding from Vaught Hemingway Stadium for Inside the Rebels, an affiliate of 24/7 Sports and Rebs247.com. Tonight, Jared, the Rebels fall 24-22 to the Bulldogs, and the Egg Bowl is always kind of crazy. Tonight it was raining, it was cold, and this program has a lot of unanswered questions, but let's look at the game in and of itself. The Rebels couldn't get the running game going at all.
Yeah, they could not get the running game going at all. You could partially credit some of that to, Mississippi State's game plan. Zach Arnett, is a guy who, can really come up with a good game plan, especially when he needs to, especially in a big game and all that. But at the end of the day with Ole Miss, you have missed opportunities. It was the exact same thing last week against Arkansas. You had opportunities against Alabama the week before, and what's a common denominator to all those is 3 straight losses, and all 3 of those losses have come since, at a certain event that I'm sure you and I and everyone else is all too familiar with. What is Lane Kiffin going to do? We just heard from Lane Kiffin just a second ago, as if he anticipates being Ole Miss's coach next season. He simply said 2 words, "I do," and rephrased if Auburn offered him the job, if he anticipated, said, "I do." But with everything that's kind of gone on in leading up to the week, of the past couple of weeks, I think you always kind of have to be on your toes at all times because he and the players mentioned that things change in college football. And, you could really not settle on something until it actually happens. So it's kind of a waiting period. It's going to see if Lane is going to sign a contract and be Ole Miss's head coach next season, or if he's going to be wearing blue and orange next year.
This team finished the season 1-4, and Jared, I tweeted the last 2 weeks when Lane Kiffin was mentioned for the job at Auburn, this team offensively has played horrendous. There's got to be a correlation. I think there is.
I think there's a correlation, exactly. And, I mentioned that all 3 losses have kind of come in that span. But you look at, other than the factors of the rain and then the ridiculously coldness of against Arkansas, I think some of it has to do with certain play calls and certain downs in certain situations. There were times where, a couple weeks ago, you questioned the personnel on the field, on the final drive against Alabama, and then what would you have done differently on certain drives when they got in the red zone against Arkansas? It was kind of a similar situation here. Whether the play was not rightly executed or it was just a poor time to do it, it kind of seemed, you kind of connect the dots and you think, is this all related? And I think that's a driving factor, and that's why it's been asked the past 3 weeks, to the players and to, Lane Kiffin himself, is this team distracted? And I think, you can make a legitimate case for that, but, with words that have been said, they don't think so. But at the same time, you can't help but look at that, regardless of what's said.
This Mississippi State team just flat out played Ole Miss today, Jared. In fact, the only reason Ole Miss was really in the game was the 3 turnovers. And there at the end of the game, Rogers was reaching kind of for the end zone, fumbled the ball, and Ole Miss was able to score and didn't get the 2-point conversion. In your opinion, what happened down the stretch? We knew the schedule was going to be tougher, but what happened to this team?
Well, when you look at the second half, the first thing you might want to look at is 15 yards in the third quarter alone, and then, that's eye-popping, especially for a team that on paper, you should probably give them a bigger challenge, especially way more than 15 yards. And it was kind of a miracle that Ole Miss even had a chance there at the end, especially with the sequence, with the inadvertent whistle. It seemed like it wasn't complete. If it was an inadvertent whistle, then the next thing you know, it's Mississippi State's ball, because one Mississippi State play just played through the whistle and the others seemingly didn't right there. But it seemed like when Mississippi State was on the 1-yard line, it was going to just be basically the kill shot. And the next thing you know, that happens. And I think when you look at Egg Bowls, you can't say you couldn't see that coming, but crazy things happen like that. And you look at that, it's like, okay, there it is. Ole Miss is going to have a chance maybe to go to overtime for the first time since 2013, but it was not meant to be because of the 2-point conversion at the end. Ole Miss had some critical 3rd and 4th down conversions in that drive. But at the end of the day, you said it best. Mississippi State just simply, plain and simple, distracted or not, outplayed Ole Miss. And you got to give them a lot of credit. But, with Ole Miss, they try to go 1-0 this week. They're 0-1. It's going to be interesting to see how they respond and miss the rumors and miss everything, how they're going to perform the bowl game.
Now we wait. Jared said earlier Lane Kiffin was adamant. He's going to stay the head coach at Ole Miss. We'll learn soon enough, and we'll know what's the next step for this program. If he's not the head coach, then all of a sudden you talk about a coaching search. We'll have all that for you at Rebs247.com, an affiliate of 24/7 Sports and Inside the Rebels. For Inside the Rebels, I'm Brad Logan alongside Jared Redding. Stay tuned to Inside the Rebels. We'll have full coverage of everything moving forward. If Lane Kiffin stays or if he goes, lock it in. We'll take care of you at Inside the Rebels, the affiliate of 24/7 Sports.